Good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. The Cabinet has decided to drop 2 of the 8 constitutional amendments on Malaysian citizenship pertaining to foundlings in the country. According to Home Minister Dato' Sri Saifuddin Nasution, the decision was made after many feedbacks and engagement sessions with various stakeholders, including the Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim. He said the Cabinet has approved all except 2 of the proposed amendments. There are amendments to Section 19B and Section 1 in bracket E from the second schedule of the Federal Constitution, meaning that the current clauses would remain. Section 19B states that foundlings are given automatic citizenship by operation of law, while Section 1 in bracket E gives similar protection under operation of law to vulnerable groups such as children born out of wedlock, adopted and abandoned stateless children and indigenous communities. The proposed amendments by the Home Ministry received strong criticism from human rights groups and NGOs, citing them as regressive. It would have allowed the citizenship applications of foundlings to be given via registration rather than by law, leaving many vulnerable children no longer entitled to automatic citizenship. Meanwhile, Malaysia has declined an invitation to host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. The Youth and Sports Ministry says the Cabinet decided on the matter after considering all aspects, including costs and implications. In a statement, it said the Commonwealth Games Federation had met with Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh as well as Second Finance Minister Dato' Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan to discuss the hosting offer on February 5th. However, the ministry concluded that the Federation's offer of £100 million or 603 million ringgit in supporting funds was insufficient to cover the total cost of hosting a major sporting event. It added that the economic impact of such expenditure could not be determined in the short term. It said the government's focus at this time was on local sports development and the welfare of the people. Malaysia was asked to host the event after the Australian state of Victoria pulled out last year, claiming the estimated cost had been inflated by 6.9 billion Australian dollars. A report by Victoria's Auditor General's Office published on Wednesday found that the cost estimate that led to the cancellation of the event was overstated and not transparent. In other news, McDonald's Malaysia has withdrawn its defamation suit against the pro-Palestinian group Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions BDS Malaysia. Its managing director and local operating partner, Dato' Azmi Jaafar, announced after a mediation process between the two parties. Azmir said McDonald's Malaysia had filed a brand defamation legal suit to clarify its position on the Middle East conflict. He added that their stance remained firm that it would not support or be involved in any conflict or war. Azmir also said the firm continued to support Palestinians affected by the violence in Gaza by contributing to the Palestinian Humanitarian Fund and organizing employee fundraising initiatives to support relief efforts in Gaza. In December, Gerbang Alaf Restaurants Sdn Berhad, the licensee of McDonald's in the country, demanded an apology from BDS Malaysia for alleged defamatory statements. It also called for 6 million ringgit in special damages over a series of social media posts linking the fast food franchise, among others, to Israel's war against the Palestinians. Malaysia Airlines has inked a multi-year partnership with Manchester United Football Club as its official commercial airline. In making the announcement, Group Managing Director of Malaysia Aviation Group, Dato' Izham Ismail, says the partnership is part of an initiative to drive the airline's business transformation plan. Through the partnership, he said MAG was poised to extend its Malaysian hospitality to Manchester United's community of over 1 billion followers worldwide, including the 577 million fans that are within Malaysia Airlines' key markets. This, he said, placed the airline on a global stage and boosted brand recognition. The partnership was signed between MAG Airline Business CEO Ahmad Luqman Mohammad Azmi and Manchester United's Chief Executive of Alliances and Partnerships, Victoria Timson, at the sidelines of the Mata Fair today. We'll go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Di dalam setiap berita yang dibawa, konteks amat penting. kami sentiasa membawakan yang tergempar dan terkini. Pastikan Astro AWANI menjadi pilihan anda, tidak kira di mana sahaja anda berada.
Welcome back. To mark World Water Day, we speak to Piara Pakaran Subramaniam, President of the Association of Water and Energy Research Malaysia, to discuss some of the challenges for water management in Malaysia and how we can tackle them.
If we look at what we are facing at the moment, now in Malaysia, we back in 2007, we started National Water Services Industry Restructuring, where by 2015, the centralized sewerage operation, which is India Water Consortium, supposed to be broken to state-based companies and merged with our water companies, so that we have a holistic water management at state levels, which is basically regulated by Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Negara. We are not moving towards that. And in fact, the amount of water that is lost in non-revenue water at the moment is equivalent to probably the state of Kelantan, Pahang, and Melaka combined total water demand. So that's quite a lot of water we are losing every year due to non-revenue water.
Piara also highlighted how the water problems are exacerbated by human action.
In Malaysia, we are actually rainforest weather climates, where we are not a tropical climate. So we fully depend on rainwater, and that is the backbone of our water resource and our water cycle. Our groundwater depends on that, our surface water depends on that. The more forests we lose, the lower the base flow will get, and it will actually give us more problem, and it's already happening. And why are we just keep firefighting? So and whenever there's dry season, there's another group of people who come and say, let us use a lot of groundwater. No, we have ample of groundwater. No. Groundwater, you only can extract to the amount that it recharges. Say if the recharge rate is now at about 9% because you have lost a lot of forest, if you use more than 9%, then your land will settle. Look at what's happening to Jakarta. The administration have to move from the Nusantara in Kalimantan basically because Jakarta is sinking. And 2 years ago, there was a report showing that Kelantan's excessive use of groundwater has caused some level of soil settlement. That means Kelantan has sunk a little bit, which will give problem for a flood-prone area, because when you're slightly lower, then water is not going to go out easy. And during high tide, your flood occurrence will be higher.
Piara Pakaran also emphasizes the need to invest in human capital in order to find effective water solutions. According to him, it is time for more stakeholders to join in the conversation to safeguard our water supply and resources.
In the restructuring process, I think the biggest mistake that was done was when they restructured, they say, we are bad, we want to be better. Then you took all these apples and recycled them in the new system. So you're not going to get a solution. If you use the bad apples again, recycle them, then you're going to get the same output. Even though the plan, the model is very good, we are not going to get a good output. So I think we need to look at the human capital. There's a lot of room for improvement. We are supposed to achieve an internationally benchmark water services where other countries are supposed to look up to us by 2020. Unfortunately, our water services is still where it was almost 20 years ago. So we are not moving far. And some states are actually losing treated water, more than half of the water that's going into the system. So we have not moved forward much. I hope the new minister can look into this issue seriously. Some of these solutions are already there. We do not need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to follow through and implement it.
On to the international front, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Israel to press for a truce in Gaza. His visit comes ahead of a key UN vote on a U.S.-sponsored Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza conflict and the release of hostages held by Hamas. Blinken is expected to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli War Cabinet. His trip coincides with the resumption of talks in Doha, aimed at reaching an agreement on a ceasefire linked to the release of hostages held by Hamas. The U.S. draft resolution is intended to give a sense of urgency to these talks. It is also an attempt by the administration of President Joe Biden to keep pressure on Hamas while trying to regain some international credibility and mend relations with allies after voting against 3 UN ceasefire resolutions. During his visit, Blinken is also expected to press Israel again on the urgent need for more humanitarian aid to reach the people of Gaza. The UN-backed food security assessment this week said 1.1 million people in Gaza were struggling with catastrophic hunger and starvation. Meanwhile, Finland will resume funding to the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency, UNRWA. This after major donor countries, including the United States and the UK, paused their funding after accusations by Israel that a dozen of the agency's staff in Gaza took part in the October 7th Hamas attack in Israel. According to Foreign Trade and Development Minister Viltavio, UNRWA has improved its risk management and ensured close monitoring for misconduct, allowing it to resume funding. He said, however, some of Finnish money would be earmarked for risk management. Finland has a 4-year agreement from 2023 to 2026 with UNRWA to provide humanitarian assistance with a total contribution amount of 20 million euros. Besides Finland, countries including Canada, Australia, Sweden and the European Commission have also restored funding to UNRWA, while several Gulf countries such as Saudi Arabia have increased funding. The UNRWA provides healthcare, education and other vital services to the Palestinian people in Gaza, where millions are currently at the brink of famine. The United Nations General Assembly on Thursday unanimously adopted the first global resolution on artificial intelligence. The non-binding resolution, proposed by the United States and co-sponsored by China and over 120 other nations, aims to safeguard human rights, protect personal data and monitor AI for risk.
Today, all 193 members of the United Nations General Assembly have spoken in one voice and together chosen to govern artificial intelligence rather than let it govern us. The groundbreaking resolution adopted today cements global consensus for safe, secure, trustworthy AI systems that both advance sustainable development and respect fundamental freedoms.
The resolution, which took 3 months to negotiate, also advocates for the strengthening of privacy policies surrounding AI. It acknowledges that AI can be used to close the digital gap within and between nations to advance shared priorities surrounding sustainable development, provided that it is safe, secure and trustworthy. The resolution is the latest in a series of initiatives by governments around the world to shape AI's development, amid fears it could disrupt democratic processes or contribute to fraud or job losses, among other concerns. The Myanmar Army has moved to enlist its first batch of civilians into the military. Conscription notices have reportedly been sent to eligible candidates in various parts of the country. In early February, Myanmar's army enacted a dormant conscription law requiring eligible candidates to serve in the military. Citizens between the ages of 18 and 35 are required to serve under the law. It said the first round of recruitment would begin in April, with around 5,000 recruits. The move has raised a range of concerns from brain drain to increased violence amid the ongoing crisis. Women are exempt from service for the time being, but the move has sparked fear among those eligible. That wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Fana Sheh. Thank you for watching.